Welcome to Cooking Without Recipes. We teach all of our clients how to cook without recipes because this is the most simple way to make a fast, tasty meal. Now, if you're freaking out a little bit because you're used to spending time looking at recipes, or maybe you enjoy looking at recipes, or you believe that cooking with a recipe is the only way that you can get the outcome of having a tasty meal, we're going to change that today. So if you believe that you have to use a recipe in order to cook something that tastes good, this is for you. I want you to know that you don't have to be an excellent cook to get a dinner on the table fast and easy. So here's how we do it. The first thing I want you to do is think about what you actually like. What would you or your family order at a restaurant, or what restaurants would you go to if you were to go out to eat? And we're going to talk about how we would just recreate these things at home. So for example, if you guys love Mexican and these are some of the dishes that you and your family like to order, we can make these at home really, really easily without a recipe. And same goes for different flavor profiles. So I say Asian here, although that encompasses quite a lot of different types of cuisines. So Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Indian. There's a lot under this umbrella, but for the sake of this demo, I'm going to just refer to this as Asian because a lot of the techniques can be the same, like stir fry. These are just some sample dishes that you might create that you can do at home really, really easily, like chicken and broccoli or orange beef and peppers. And I'm going to show you how to do that. For Italian, this is really simple, and it doesn't have to be all pasta or pizza. There's other ways you can get those flavors with protein and veggies. So like for meatballs, I like to have those with some grilled veggies, maybe with some pesto. A chicken caprese might look like a sliced chicken thigh with fresh mozzarella and basil. White beans and pesto are a really great topper to any salad. Shrimp and artichokes is something that's super simple you can make in the summertime, or like a roasted pork loin with an olive tapenade is a crowd pleaser. So these are really super simple things that you can put together. And here's how you do it. So first you'll kind of pick your flavor. So we've got our Mexican flavor profile here, and then you're going to start by picking a protein. So like, what's the base of the dish? Is it vegetarian? Am I going to use beans? Would I like to use chicken thighs? Maybe I have rotisserie chicken on hand or fresh fish. You start by picking your protein. Then you're going to think about what veggies can go with that. So if you know you're going to make tacos, you're going to think, well, what veggies would go with tacos? Or maybe you're going to do a fajita bowl with, beans and rice and sauteed veggies. So you start picking what veggies you want based on what dish you think you'd like to make. Then you have your optional starch or grain. So here we have rice, corn, quinoa, tortillas. There's a lot of great alternative tortillas. Siete makes an almond or cassava flour tortilla that is gluten-free. That's really great. So if you were going to make tacos, you would say, okay, well, what kind of taco, what kind of veggies? And then our flavor determines how it tastes, right? So having taco seasoning on hand, salsa, enchilada sauce is great. And I love fresh herbs and spices like oregano, epazote, and cumin. These are things that you can have on hand in your pantry so that all you need is protein and veggies, and you can whip up a meal really easily. Beans and rice is always something super simple you can do with Mexican. Now with Italian, I kind of talked a little bit about those flavor profiles and the types of dishes you could create. But here's an example as well. So you select a protein. What veggies do you think you want to use? Of your optional starches and grains, there's farro, which is an ancient grain. Never underestimate the potato, white potato or sweet potato. There's some great alternative pastas out there and pizza crusts that you can use to incorporate these proteins and veggies. And then you have to decide, well, what flavor do I want to go with? Is this a marinara or a pesto. Sometimes all it takes is a simple, like really nice balsamic vinegar to turn roasted veggies into something special. I always have Italian seasoning on hand. So these are combinations that can create a meal really quickly. My final example is the Asian. So we've got our different proteins, our various veggies, our starches and grains, and then the different flavors. So for flavors, I always have like a hoisin on hand. Chili sauce is great, garlic oils or ginger. Shoyu is an organic, naturally fermented soy sauce, or if you're kind of doing staying gluten-free or you're not doing soy, there's great alternatives like the coconut amino acids, and they also make great sauces as well with that base. So there's lots of options out there. You might have to hunt for some of them if you don't have access to some of these great grocery stores I have access to, but they are out there, and you can really easily order some of these like flavors online by buying different condiments. So what you would do is you just simply pick like how we put it together. So if I'm going to do those chicken tacos, I might just start with rotisserie chicken because that's really easy and I have that on hand. Obviously, I'm going to use those tortillas, and then I select what kind of veggies I want in them, and then I'm going to add some salsa. So super quick and easy. Another great example would be for Italian. I'm going to select my protein, and I happen to have these frozen chicken meatballs in the freezer ready to go. I'm going to heat them up with some mushrooms, spinach, and some jarred marinated artichokes. And then for a little extra flavor, I might dash on some marinara and some Italian seasoning. And I've got basically an Italian stir fry that took me 15 minutes to make. And then, of course, if you wanted to, you could add rice or potato to that if you wanted to add your optional starch or grain. So quickly, some things to consider is your time and effort that you want to put into this. So I like recipes. I love cookbooks. I love browsing through them for inspiration, but so often they require a little bit more effort and a little bit more time than I'm willing to put in on a Wednesday night. So that's something to think about when you're doing this, is how much time and effort do I have before I decide on something. So if you are low on time and effort, then you really want some of these quick to assemble meals instead of maybe saying like, oh, I'm going to make a lasagna from scratch today. And then your equipment, the less equipment, the better. It's like less dishes at the end, and then it obviously requires a more simple technique. If you have to pull out your pasta maker or gadgets, all kinds of different things to make this dinner happen, it's probably not the dinner for you on a Wednesday night. So here is how we get on Easy Street, by preparing some of these foods really, really quickly. So I love to have some of these foods on hand that are prepared, where half the work is done for me, right? So the rotisserie chickens. I like having the frozen meatballs and the canned beans on hand. So when I'm shopping, I buy like my fresh fish and my chicken and my beef. And those are what I'm going to have like for those first 3 days of the week. And then on the back end of the week, I have those meats that are in the freezer or the beans that are in the pantry, because I know that those are still fresh. And then I really like the deli area that has the prepared foods and meals, because you can always run in there quicker, or as quick as running through the drive-thru. You can go get a couple slices of, meatloaf or pre-cooked salmon, grab some veggies and some potatoes. They have all of that on hand, and then you just go home and heat it up. Really easy. Meal kits are always a great idea. Some grocery stores have these, or you can always order from a service like HelloFresh or Sunbasket. These are things that are delivered to your house. They have all the ingredients ready to go. You just assemble them and you've got dinner. Now, when it comes to less equipment, what I'm talking about is I want you to be able to say, okay, I want Italian. I'm going to pick chicken. I'm going to pick veggies. I'm going to pick pesto. You're going to toss it all in a bowl, stick it on a sheet pan, and shove it in the oven, right? That's one pan. Or one pan can also mean like a fry pan, which is under cooking methods. So like a stir fry or heat meat, you're going to take those same proteins, the same veggies, put them in a frying pan, with just a dash of oil, saute that until everything's cooked, and then maybe add your sauce on top of that, and you're good to go. I also really like the Instant Pot or a slow cooker, because you can add everything in, you set it, you forget it, whether it's 15 minutes in the Instant Pot or 6 hours in the crock pot, you are going to be able to let the machine do the work for you, and then you can go do something else and then come back to it. So we love less equipment and easy cooking methods so that you are not slaving away making these fancy meals that are taking up too much time and too much of your effort. So I hope this was helpful. Please reach out if you guys have questions. We're always happy to help.